What's up, my 3D art blender homies? All right, so as promised, I am finally getting into this project one with you, and I have probably spent about an hour just working on the first unit. And when I say first unit, this is what I mean. You go into your 3D modeling class and go into the content. That's where you find stuff, right? And we're in project one, the first unit here, 2.01. Getting started. This is where I've been for the last hour. Here's what I've learned. Suzanne is a monkey. If you don't know who Suzanne is and you have not actually seen Suzanne, here's what you need to do. You need to go back and do the orientation. Yeah. Make sure that you've watched that, okay, and downloaded Blender and downloaded the resources. There's a video right here that says how to download Blender and the resources. You need to watch that whole video. If you have not watched that video, just go ahead and watch it. And then there's the link to download the resources as explained in the video. And then there's a quick little lesson right here that you'll want to do. And of course, if you haven't already, take the orientation quiz and make sure you get at least 80% on that. To do less than 80% on the orientation quiz is a big indication that you didn't watch the video. So you need to do that. Or that you didn't watch the how to download Blender resources video and that you haven't really downloaded the resources and you haven't really done the first lesson. So yeah, you need to do those things to get an A. You'll get an A on the orientation quiz if you do those things, okay? Perfect. So back to this 2.01 lab getting started. This is what I've learned. And how did I learn that? I learned that by going in and clicking on these, pages and using my arrows. And I go through and I read it. And just in case you don't see what you're supposed to see over here, you just click on this little view site information button right here. And then you click on flash and you make sure that this says allow. You don't click on it actually. Just make sure it says allow right there. If it doesn't, just click that box and select that. So I just go through these and I read. And I watch the videos. You click on the little links right here and they'll open up in a new window for you. So make sure that you do all of those. And this is what I learned from going through that. So I learned that what I thought was the top of a monkey and the bottom of a monkey were totally wrong. So go ahead and practice these commands. So just to get your little monkey so that you're seeing its face, that's the top. You'll click a 7 and then practice clicking a 3 and that'll show you the right side. Control 3 will show you the left. The front is the 1. The bottom is Control 7. So I would just pause this video right now and just take a minute to practice doing each of those until they become intuitive. That's what I did. Okay, so I am actually in my Blender right now, and so if I hit my 7, you have to click on the screen and right click on this to make sure that there's a yellow line around it. So click on your screen, hit your 7, and it's the front, or whoops, the top view, right? Your front view, 1, is actually of its chin. Your bottom view, Control 7, is the top of its head. Your right view, 3, now that makes sense because I'm looking at its right ear. And then if you hit Control 3, it shows you the left ear. So probably 3 and Control 3. 3, Control 3 make most sense. 1, chin, Control 7, head, top of head. And then the top view, 7, is actually its face, which is a frontal view of the monkey. So it's kind of, it's not intuitive, and that's what I was trying to tell you about this program, people. It's not intuitive, all right? But with repetition, like a monkey, we can learn anything, right? So one of the cool features I did notice is if you scroll your mouse button up and down, you get a really nice zooming effect. Woohoo, I like that. If you hold down your Shift key and scroll, what's happening right now? It's just moving up and down along, well, it's not really moving along the y-axis, but our view is moving up and down the y-axis. And if we want our view to move left and right along the x-axis, check that out. Pretty sweet stuff. So basically just scrolling gives us the effect of moving, that's as close as I can go, along that z-axis, towards and away from. Good. Lots of algebra in here, huh? And then what else did I learn? I learned that if you press and hold the middle mouse key button, your view can do some pretty cool stuff. Okay. Now, one of the things that she did was she said,
make sure you're in object mode. If not, press the Tab key to switch to object mode. Left-click the 3D Transform Manipulator button to turn it off. Press and hold the mouse wheel or the center mouse button and move the mouse to pan around Suzanne.
And this is what I'm talking about. When I press my middle mouse rolly button, I can't pan around Suzanne like that. How about you?
Press and hold shift.
Press and hold shift while pressing the middle mouse button and move the mouse to pan around the object in a straight line.
I can get mine to do that, so hopefully you can too. And when my Suzanne gets crazy, I just hit the 7 button and bring it kind of back to where it's at. And so holding down the shift key, we already kind of talked about that. And press your middle mouse button, press and hold it. And you can go left and right, up and down, around in circles. But it doesn't matter what I do. I cannot do a circle around Suzanne's head like she does. That's okay. So I am going to show you my favorite way to do this. Okay, so first, you know, to hold down your middle scroll button and rotate it around, right? And you can sit and play that game all day long, but look, I'm never going to get that view doing that all by itself. So how about this? I kind of got him looking like he's sort of in the right angle. I want to teach you a couple scroll tricks, okay? First one is scroll control. Hold down, scroll. Shift control. Hold down the shift button and the control button and just scroll. I'm not saying, oh, look at it, I'm almost there. I'm not saying hold down the scroll button and move your mouse around. No, I'm just saying scroll it gently. Notice what it does. Okay. Now hold down the shift and the alt button and just scroll. We're getting pretty close. Looks like I'm gonna have to hold down my middle mouse button to try to tweak it and get it just right. And hold down my shift and control. Hold down my shift and alt and scroll. You know, eventually I'll get there and it will look really close. So it's not perfect, but those are the best keys to use to get quickly to this outcome, because you could literally spend a half an hour trying to figure it out and still not get there. So if you want to write those down, press and hold the scroll button and move the mouse around. Okay, and then when you get it as close as you can, then try shift alt scroll and shift control scroll. And another cool thing to do is to take your scroll and just zoom out and then practice the shift control scroll. Whoops, that's not what I meant. I'm just pressing down and holding my middle mouse button right now. But I kind of like the fact that if I scroll back, I can see the whole thing in space and how it relates to my object. And then I can hold down shift and I can scroll, and I can see that when I do shift, it's just moving my whole grid up and down. Doesn't matter what angle I've moved it to. If I hold down control, it's going to move my grid left and right while I'm scrolling, right? Hold down control and scroll. That's all I'm doing is scrolling right now. I can also practice those keyboard buttons. There's my 8. There's my 2. There's my 4. There's my 6. Let's see what happens when I hold down my middle mouse button and change the angle and do my 4 and my 6. What happens when I hit 5? Not much. What happens when I hit my 7? Woo! Brings it so the top view is right at me. What happens when I hit 1? What happens when I hit 3? Control 3. Control 7. 7. Ding! So the bottom view really isn't supposed to be the top of the monkey's head. I see. It's really the back of the monkey's head. Okay. 7 and control 7 are really opposites, because when you zoom in, just scroll in. Oh, what do I have to do? Hold down the control button and scroll, and it'll bring it right back to my center. Hold down my shift button and scroll, and I can get it back to center. So scroll in a little bit more. Let's see, hit 7. Okay, we're right in the middle. We'd be more in the middle if I just hit my control button, or I could hit my 4. Nope, that's gonna rotate it around the origin. Let's see. Let's hit control 7. See, when I see that, I think I'm looking at the top of its head. But when we scrolled out, that wasn't the case. Apparently we were looking at the back of its head. 7, control 7. Okay, so pull your grid back, and take a look at how things really are looking from there. And then try your shift, alt, scroll, and see how that affects your grid. Try your shift. Wait, that was my shift control. Here's my shift alt. And so you can see how the two of those are affecting the grid. Okay? Have fun with that.